Well, hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Christmas on Crestline. Very special guest today. He's in the waiting room. We're going to bring him back on out here in a second. But for your viewing pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to Mr. Bill Webster, the inventor of garage celebrations. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, Charlie, how are you? I'm great, thanks.
Do, Doing great. Thanks very much for coming on the show today and talking to all us folks. Real quickly, let's see who all's in here. We got Chad tuning in from Mexico. We got Gabo tuning in from Mexico. We got Steve saying, let's go. We got Lights Lighting Up Orchard. What's going on, buddy? Monty Small tuning in. For anyone looking to enhance your display by decorating your garage doors, you cannot go wrong with garage celebrations.
Yay,
Price,
Monty.
quality. Yeah, Monty's actually the guy who turned me on to your company. So he couldn't stop bragging about you. I'm like, I need to see what this is about. Josh's Lights tuning in. And from Florida, Clear Christmas Cable, Kurt is here. Very nice, Kurt. So for the folks that live underneath a rock and don't know who you are, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm Bill Webster, and I started Garage Celebrations with my son. And basically, what Garage Celebrations is a big sign that you put on your garage door. It's one of the only places that isn't decorated on most homes, and it's a big empty spot typically, your garage door, whether it's a one-car or a two-car garage. And we looked at it and said, gee, this would be a fun place to decorate. But hanging a sign on a garage door is a bit of a trick because obviously you want to still use the door. And as it opens and closes, the panels separate. So it needed to be stretchy and have a way to connect. And so my son was the one that came up with the concept of using the collars that we use where we zip up the corners and go around the top of the door. And we have a spandex polyester blend. As I've always said in a lot of things, it's like a big pair of Lululemon yoga pants that stretch over the door so it's tight against the door. So if it's windy or rainy or snowy, it won't blow off, it won't fall off. It's machine washable. It's and definitely reusable. I'm working on the 4th year on mine. We've been in business 2 years now, but that's what we do, and we've had a lot of success. It's been fun.
Very cool. So before we get too deep into this, we talked earlier, you behind the scenes, I consider you to be a Renaissance man. What's a fun fact folks might find interesting about you?
Well, let's see about me. Well, one of the fun facts, I guess, that has nothing to do with, it does have to do with Christmas, actually. Since high school, I've had a band. The band is called Webster's Unabridged. And it started off as a big band doing jazz and fun stuff. And then as we started playing gigs in through college and whatever, it kind of morphed into a rock band. So it's sort of a Chicago blood, sweat, and tears kind of band. By the way, it still plays. We played a concert 2 weeks ago, so I still do it.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun. But one of the things that happened that ties to Christmas is that when I was in junior in high school, the brass section of the band, my buddies and I, got together, and on Christmas Eve, we went out and played Christmas carols. And I live in Palos Verdes, which is a big hilly area. And so we would find overlooks and just play off into the night on Christmas Eve.
Nice.
And we got hooked doing it. And it became known as the Phantom Carolers because what we liked about it was nobody knew who we were. And so we would play for maybe 15 minutes and then we'd zoom off somewhere else and play for 15 minutes on Christmas Eve. Well, fast forward 55 plus years, we've done it every year on Christmas
Wow.
Eve. Yeah, and it's been different players. I'm recruiting younger guys, but we still do it every Christmas Eve. We don't make as many stops anymore. And so people now know who the Phantom Carolers are. They kind of expect us a little bit, but it's been fun. And that's a fun fact, I guess. That you might not know.
That is a fun fact. 55 years in a row, caroling on top of the hill. Yeah, in California. That's a very fun fact. That's very cool.
No, I thought so. It's kind of a good one.
Yes. So you're here on a Christmas show, but aside from Christmas, what's your favorite holiday of the year? Just curious.
I think Christmas is, but
okay,
Halloween is becoming a really big deal.
It is, yeah.
Actually, my son, who's a part of Garage Celebrations. Back when he was in high school, he built a 2,500 square foot haunted house in our backyard. Like
Awesome.
years. We had, I think we counted, we had over 3,000 people go through the haunted house in the 2 weeks prior to Halloween. And little did I realize that we would get into the holiday business. But
Right.
and of course, he became an architect by training, which I should have seen right
Nice.
away. But that was kind of fun. But no, Halloween
Okay.
and Christmas are really a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Agreed. Okay, so let's talk about the product here. Garage Celebrations, like we said earlier, Monty, a good friend of the show, said, "Hey, have you heard about Garage Celebrations? You got to check out their products." And so I think a year or so, I reached out to you and said, "Hey, how you doing? Can you tell us you kind of went through it a minute ago. The garage door is a blank space that no one uses. So very few people use. What actually inspired you to create Garage Celebrations and the product?"
Well, a couple things. One is as you start to look at decor and people generating front yard displays, for lack of a better description, inflatables became a big deal. You know, the inflatable Santas, and they still are. And then for Halloween, you start to see a lot of animatronics. You know, the monsters and crazy stuff. But people were looking for big. How do I do something bigger on my house? And so we were playing around with this idea anyway, and I think it kind of ended up being at the right time as people are looking for an easy way to make a bold statement on their home without going crazy in terms of the amount of work it takes to set up. We've discovered a lot of people are buying these for grandma, and what they're doing is they're actually going to grandma's house and slapping this on her garage door, and she's instantly decorated without having to climb on the eaves and put up lights and do all that stuff. And
That's
so
brilliant.
So we're finding all kinds of little niches for our product, but for the most part, it's decorating for, you know, it's part of your display.
So yeah, that's brilliant. A lot of folks, like my neighbor across the street, Mary. Hi, Mary. She always watches. She makes decorating a family event. She gets all of her grandkids over. They put everything in there. So that's great that you brought that up. What's the biggest when you're coming up with this idea? You're like, hey, it's a blank space. We have this idea for a product. We're gonna do it. What was the biggest challenge you faced when creating a product?
To the door. How do you attach this to the door? There's a lot of folks out there, particularly the Chinese, that say, here's a decoration for your garage door, and you get a piece of vinyl that's a big hunk of vinyl, and there's no way to attach it to the door. They may not even have grommets on it, but grommets don't necessarily work. But hanging it on the door is a challenge. And so we started to look at it saying, how do we attach this to the door where it's firmly on the door, but it's easy to attach and it won't fall off, and it still allows the door to work and go up and down. And that's when my son started to really start to screw in on this, the way we install the door and how we zip it up and the type of fabric. And we started playing with different prototypes of things that worked or didn't work. And one of the challenges is, you know, you got to get it on the door pretty tight to make sure that it stays on the door. But if it's too tight, the average person has a real hard time installing it. So we were playing around with the right size. And one of the things that became a surprise is that everybody's garage door is a little different. that 16-foot wide, double wide garage door is not necessarily 16 feet. It might be 16.1. It might be, 15.11. And so we needed to have enough play to have it fit. And that to this day has become our biggest challenge, is making sure that it's easier to install. Our latest versions of the covers, by the way, we came up with a new zipper design. It's got 3 zippers, so it gives you a couple inches of play on each side to adjust down or up to deal with that. And the other thing we discovered is this piece of banding that has the 3 zippers on it is much easier to thread through the sides of your door. So we've had nothing but rave reviews about the new design and how much easier it is to install. So yeah, like all products, hopefully you're staying on top of it and making it better every year. And that's where we are right now.
So I've gotten to where I can put the cover on by myself in 6 minutes, and with my wife or somebody else is out there helping, like 2 minutes. But if you came up with a better zipper design that's quicker, I'm all for
Yeah.
it.
We encourage people to have a buddy help them. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
I put these on myself too, but it never fails. I'll get it greasy or something because I get it flopping
Oh
around.
yeah.
It's so much easier to just have my wife in the front of the door hand it up to me, and then I go whoop and zip it up, and it's done. So
Uh,
I encourage two people.
Kurt actually is stealing my thunder here. Is asking a great question. There are other companies that sell similar products. What separates Garage Celebrations from others?
You're right, and particularly the Chinese. Wait until you
Yep.
see some of the ads that have been running. They use our video. They're as bold as taking our videos and slicing off the bottom where it says Garage Celebrations and running it as their own. But most of these folks either have clamps and clips that you have to attach to the covers that has springs and the like, or in a lot of cases, the stuff you're seeing like on Temu or whatever, what you're getting is just a piece of either fabric or vinyl with no way to attach it to the door. It's up to you to figure out how to do it. You either have to put a rope on it or pin it to your door or tape it to your door. Our benefit is there's no clips, there's no bungee cords, there's no anything. It's just the cover with the zippers. And the nice thing about it is you can fold it up, you can machine wash it, you can fold it up.
Yes.
It's easy to store for next Christmas. One of the big challenges in my house is my attic is just full of Christmas decor items. And so having one that packs down small is nice.
That's so for me, the two biggest differences are machine washable, and it's freaking awesome. I haven't had any problems with getting grease on it or anything, but it goes in, you wash it just like you're washing a t-shirt, comes out pristine clean, and the not being vinyl is my favorite part. Vinyl
Right.
creases, it's gonna fade. I had my Merry Christmas one I have of yours. I had that up for 2 months probably, bright as ever, no sun fading at all. I was extremely impressed with that.
Oh, thanks. Now they're designed to be holiday decorations. We've had some people that have left them up for months at a time, and I think some homeowners associations will start to get mad at you if you're leaving it up too long. But for the most part, they're designed to be up for about 6 weeks and then use it for multiple years. And whether it's Halloween or Christmas or American
Right.
flags for the 4th of July, those are the holidays that have the longest amount of time. The other
Yes.
thing we're
That's
starting to get, Charlie, which is kind of interesting, is we're getting a lot of requests for custom covers. Um,
yes. I wanted to talk to you about that. Yeah.
oh, sure. You want to just weigh in, or did you have
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Uh, we're just now updating our website. It's probably in the next week or two, we'll have a way for people to actually identify that they want a custom cover and tell us what they want. Right now, we're just handling it on a one at a time basis. But we've had companies ask to put their corporate logo on. We've had people ask to do special birthdays, or we've had, my son's going to be a football player his senior year in high school, and I want to do the, go number 43, that kind of thing. Uh,
Yeah.
and we're able, because these are printed, because they're using dye sublimation printing, these large printers, everything we
Mhm.
make is one at a time. So it's easy for us to, well, it's not easy, but we pull together all the custom graphics,
Yeah.
and we can crank out in like 8 days a custom cover.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw this or not, but I actually did a video about your covers and your printing process. So if you guys are curious about that printing process he's talking about, you can go back and watch my review of that process according to Garage Celebrations. But Kurt, who's in the chat today from Clear Christmas Cable, has your flag. He got the July 4th flag, the same one I did. And he actually reached out to me, Kurt did, on our Discord chat, said, hey, can they do custom logos? He wants to put his logo on his garage door. And I've had some folks say, hey, can they do tune to signs so they know to tune into my radio? I'm like, yeah, they can do it. Just got to get a hold of them.
Yep, just drop us an email either at support@garagecelebrations.com or bill@garagecelebrations.com. My son is kind of the point man on custom covers because he can make Photoshop and all those different things sing. But
Yeah.
for right now, we can do anything. And the other thing we're finding is that we just had a gentleman the other day said he has two garage doors, one huge one and one still big, and he wanted to do a Santa Claus that went across both garage doors. And he says,
I like it.
what kind of art? He didn't know what kind of art to do. So what we did is we hooked him onto Shutterstock, and we said, go find the art you like, because we have an account.
Yeah.
That's one of the other differences on us is that we license all of our graphics. So everything that you get from us is fully paid for and legal. We have, and by the way, we have an arrangement now with Disney. We're doing Star Wars. We're doing the Disney characters. We're doing Frozen, all that. And we also have Peanuts. So we've got Charlie Brown and Snoopy and what have you. All those are licensed covers. One of our challenges with once again, with some of the competitors, you'll see Nightmare Before Christmas from people who don't have licenses to sell it. And so it's just not something we're going to do. We're a U.S. company. We want to make sure that everything's legal.
Right. So, which leads me to the next question. How do you decide which designs to actually market and mass produce? What separates one design from another?
At first, when we first started, we guessed. We took a look at some.
Fair enough.
Well, that's cute. Let's see how this goes, and see if anybody buys it. Well, now we have the ability. We're partnering with a company in the U.S. where we can make these in the United States on a one-at-a-time basis. And so one of the cool things is that everything's made in the U.S. You come to us, we'll do a proof for whatever you want, and then we'll send it to them, and they'll zap it out. So for new designs that we do for us, we'll actually have them do those too. And so we'll test it and see if it sells well. If it does sell well, then we'll have them made overseas in larger quantities. But one of the big challenges for us, of course, is making sure we have enough inventory. There's a lot of different size garage doors. There's 1-car doors, 2-car doors. They're 8 feet tall, 9 feet tall, 18 feet wide, 16. So once we make a decision to mass produce a cover, we have to make it in all those different sizes. And then it takes a long while. We got to float it over from our mass-produced covers are made in Vietnam. And, it's a long time.
Okay.
It's a couple of months from, we have to place the order. They have to make it. Let's say it takes them a month to make it. They have to get it on the water. And right now, ocean freight is taking forever. I think a little because of the Suez Canal, everything's going the other way, and it's hard. There's congestion, all kinds of problems. We've got a container on the water right now that has we've got most of our Halloween in, but it's got the balance of our Halloween and most of our Christmas covers, and then another Christmas cover container 30 days behind that. So we're pretty set up and ready to go. But yeah, when we try something new, we'll just zap it out and try it on a one-at-a-time basis. That's one of the things we discovered. Everyone asks, can you do sports teams? Can you do the Dodgers or the Buffalo Bills or whatever? And we ran an experiment here in California. We did USC, and we made a bunch of covers for the University of Southern California. And we made a whole bunch of covers, and they didn't sell as well. And everybody wanted a size we didn't have. And we went, well, this doesn't work because the inventory if we started to do every NFL team or every MLB team, think of the number of covers we'd have to have. But now that we have the ability to make these on demand, now I can start to entertain that where you say, okay, I need an 8x16 Green Bay Packer cover. We can make it. And I don't have to stock every other size or whatever. And if Green Bay Packers goes nuts, which it might, we can make them overseas. But right now we're going to make everything one at a time because it makes a lot more sense.
And what is that? So if Kurt emails you and says, hey, I want my logo on one door, my Attune 2 sign on the next door, from the time he emails you and pays, what's the delivery turnaround?
It's been taking 8 to 10 days.
That's quick.
Yeah,
that's quick.
We zoom it out. So we're trying to make them fast. I mean, as you get closer to the Christmas time or whatever, it's going to slow down a bit just because of traffic and UPS is slow and everything else. But we're trying to stay under that 10-day mark if we can make it.
So 2 quick questions here from the viewers. And one, I saw Chad. Where'd Chad go? Chad says this all the time. Says he would love one. He's afraid his dog would eat it as a snack. He has a dog that eats a lot, and he's worried that if he puts this beautiful garage cover on his garage, the dog's going to eat it from the inside. Have you had any problems with dogs eating garage celebration banners?
Oh, from the inside?
I would assume
Or
from
from
the
the
inside.
outside?
Chad, I guess you could mean from the outside, but
From the outside, there's no way because there's nothing to grab. From the
right.
inside, because the I don't think it's very tasty, but I guess you could eat it from the inside, but from the outside, there's no way. Just because it's so tight against the door.
And I saw it in the comments a second ago. I don't see it now, so forgive me if I don't give you credit, whoever asked that. But and the common question I get on Discord and on Patreon from my viewers over there is like, hey, that's great he's doing garage celebrations. I want that garage door cover on my front door. Have you had any thoughts of expanding from garage doors to windows or to interior doors?
Yeah, we're starting to look now. When we first started, and we're still a startup business basically, we said, okay, let's stay in our lane. We're garage doors. Let's stay with garage doors. Get focused on
Okay.
garage doors. Don't get distracted. Don't spend money that you don't have. Don't try
Yeah.
new stuff. Um, just just yesterday, a front door prototype was uh, submitted, and we're having that made. So we're going to play
Ooh, okay.
around with front doors. I My son says it's not going to be a problem. I worry about whether they close properly and how things work. So we still got some playing around to do with that.
Right.
We've got a couple other ideas of things to do. Uh, some people have asked us for wall hangings, just things that they can put up on the,
Huh.
a piece of PVC through it or whatever. If we're looking, but probably for this year for sure, we're going to be garage doors because that's
Sure.
what we are. But next year, I think you'll start to see us branch out a little bit with a couple other products.
Well, I think you're actually branched out more than you think you are because for me, you cover two different styles. You have your garage door, hey, Merry Christmas or 4th of July, whatever. But you also have a blank one for projection mapping. So you cross over that projection mapping.
I had no idea that was so big. I was shocked. We started getting calls saying we need a movie screen, and really,
Yep.
Anyway, we've sold a bunch of those. There's a bunch of, I'm sure your viewers, there's a bunch of people out there that project all kinds of stuff, and they're looking for a nice flat thing that they could put on their garage and then still use their garage, but then use it at night. And so we've sold a bunch of those. As a matter of fact, I just last week had a whole bunch come in stock, so they're in stock and ready to ship.
I'm teaching a class at the Christmas Expo next week, and one of the courses I'm going to take myself as a student is projection mapping. So I'm going to be mentioning this product in that class next week, and it should be a packed class.
Fantastic.
Projection mapping is something I'll be doing on my house this year. I did it for Halloween a few years ago, and this year I'll be doing it for Christmas as well. So new tech, and we're going to dive into it and see how it looks. So we're talking here. We had some viewer questions coming in saying, hey, you're going to do windows, you're going to do front doors. So what feedback from the customer, how does that directly affect what gets put out as far as product goes? Is it feedback from reviews or what?
Yeah. First of all, reviews are important to us. If you love our product, give us a Google review. But if you don't love our product, somebody has a problem, a zipper breaks or something screws up, we fall over backwards to make it right. And those are our best reviews. So if you have a problem, those are my 5-star reviews because we fix them all. And people have been very happy about that. And so we're proud of that. We also want to hear back from you on what styles. Hey, I need, like this year, or last Halloween, somebody said, I really need something that has a witch theme. I need witches. And we thought they were right. And so we have a witch cover that's coming out for this Halloween. We try and add a couple. We're not going crazy with how many, you could just slap art on and make a bunch of covers. That's not the direction we're going. But we are open. If somebody has something they really want to do, we'll do it as a custom cover for them, and boom, we'll do it right away. But if we get enough requests, or we see something that's really cool that we like for the Disney covers, we had a fella ask about the Mandalorian, and we did a Mandalorian cover, and it looks so cool. We put it on. It's on now. We've got them in stock, and so we're doing a lot of Disney. Most people want Mickey and Minnie and what have you for Disney, but I'll tell you what sells is Nightmare Before Christmas. because of
Okay.
Halloween. It's got the Halloween and the Christmas
Crossover. Yeah.
crossover thing. So we're selling a bunch of those.
So in the chat right now, they're talking about how you were on Shark Tank. Can you, since they're talking about that in the chat, can you let's touch on that for a second.
Sure.
So you were on the TV show Shark Tank.
Yes.
My cousin was also on the TV show Shark Tank.
Oh, really?
You had a different experience than my cousin did. He got, boo, you got to go. But you actually got an offer. So can you talk to us about your experience on Shark Tank?
Well, it's funny. I'm a marketing guy, and my whole view of the world is let's go sell a few of these, and then we'll go make it later. And my son is an architect and a designer, and his approach is it's not ready to show to the public yet until we get to version 18. And so the two of us would keep butting heads. And I said, but when we finally came up with something, and by the way, that's a great collaboration because I have a much better product because it's not doing it my way, and he has more sales because he's doing it my way. So we're a good team.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things is that as we got started, and I reached out to Spirit Halloween, and Spirit Halloween bought a bunch of our covers before the first ones even came out, which was fantastic. We're all forever grateful. And you can still get our covers at Spirit Halloween, by the way, if you're looking for spooky or grosser garage door cover art. I thought, well, everybody that I talked to that we were doing this said, you ought to be on Shark Tank. This is the right kind of product for Shark Tank. So I just got online and I filled out the online application. And I was kind of irreverent a little bit. I wrote a sort of a cute thing about, I said, I'm not pitiful enough to be on Shark Tank. I'm not living in my car. And I didn't have all these problems. They laughed, but they got back to us and said, hey, this is kind of a cool product. We'd like to keep, and it was a very long process. It took almost a year of submitting stuff and then hearing back and submitting. Then the day of but finally they got to the point where they said, hey, we want you to come present on Shark Tank. And it's at the Sony Studios. And of course, I'm here in LA, so it was easy to have us. But it was during COVID, so you're scared to death that you're going to test positive for COVID the morning of the shoot, because then you're out. And by the way, the Shark Tank people, every step along the way, said there's no guarantee that this will go anywhere. You may not get another call. Be prepared that this is it's a long, drawn-out process. Anyhow, So we got in there, and I did a lot of homework on Shark Tank. What does Mark Cuban think, and what is Mr. Wonderful all about? And is Lori, and who's going to buy? And I thought, well, Cuban will be out first, and Mr. Wonderful is going to make us a royalty deal, but Lori and is going to love us. And so we got in there, and by the way, it's terrifying. I've spoken to thousands of people. I can get into a big crowd, I can do a presentation, and it's all great. This thing, you're in the green room, and then you move to another room, and then they mic you up, and then they do and then you're standing behind those doors, and we were standing there for forever. And then they go begin, and the doors open, you walk out, and then you stand on the rug in front of it, and the sharks are all out in front of it. It's the first time you've ever seen the sharks. By the way, it's the first time they've seen you, too. They don't get any pre stuff on the first time they see the product when you stand there. But if you ever wonder about that show and you look, you say, all these people look like idiots. They're standing on that carpeting, kind of standing there. Well, you have to wait about 45 seconds where they do the final lighting adjustments and camera adjustments.
Gotcha.
So you're standing there, and then all of a sudden from the side here, I go, begin. And you go, hey, sharks, how are you? And you get into that thing. And so you do the first 30 seconds, your little pitch is memorized. That's the only thing that's memorized. And then it's 45 minutes of Q&A with the sharks, back and forth. And they ask a lot of really good questions. And the thing went totally sideways. The way I saw it was going to go, it didn't. Lori dropped out. I went, oh my God, she was our, that was our sure thing, and then Mr. Wonderful goes, I don't like holiday stuff. He dropped out. And at the end, Mark Cuban made us an offer. And I'm forever grateful to Mark Cuban because he legitimized our product. He made us an offer. And then, and we left. I was still a wreck. My son kept going, hey, Dad, we got an offer from Mark Cuban. And so after you're done, you go back to the green room, and Cuban's people come back and say, hey, we'll hook up with you in the next couple of weeks. So we'll do a letter of intent and all that sort of thing.
Right.
And so then we went back and forth with Cuban. And after it was all done, I had massive seller's remorse. I said, man, we gave away way too much equity for not enough money. But
Mhm.
on the other hand, we weren't doing it for the money. We were doing it for the exposure, you know. And by the way,
Okay.
after you're done filming, there's no guarantee this will air. There's a lot
Right.
of stuff
Yeah.
that ends up in the can that they don't even put on TV. So now you're worried, oh, man, I better close this deal with Cuban because that'll probably help cement the fact that we're going to go on TV. And but then we were going back and forth, and the Cubans people had some problems with I had equity in the business. I also had a shareholder loan, which they didn't like. But I said, that's all going to go away by the time Christmas is over, so let's not worry about
Mhm.
it. But anyhow, they were dragging their feet, which was fine with me at the time, to tell you the truth. And then we get a
Mhm.
call from ABC that says it's going to air in December. We're season 14, episode 9, for those of you who want to
Okay.
go YouTube it. And you can laugh and see me going catatonic as the thing goes on. But that was really fun. The night that it aired, my wife, you can imagine that I live on a cul-de-sac, and all my neighbors were
Mhm.
my test garage doors. We, they all kind of had an ownership in
Oh
watching
yeah.
celebrations go well. And so we did a big party outside where we had food and we had a fire pit going. We set up a big screen and we were going to watch live. And at 5 o'clock, Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern on Friday, boom, on comes Shark Tank. And I look at my
Right.
watch, and of course, we've got the website all set up, and we had our guys standing by. Our social media people were standing by, our programmers. We didn't want anything to crash. And I look at my watch and I say, oh, look, there's, 40 people are on the website. Oh, look, there's 400 people on the website. Oh, look, there's 4,000 people on the website. I guess
Ooh.
people watch, and then it went up to about almost 8,000 people at one time.
Wow.
And I think a lot of people watch Shark Tank with their phone, and they go, "Well, who are these guys?" While they're watching.
Yeah.
And even now on the reruns, we can tell when it reruns because all of a sudden we'll get a pop of activity on our website. But then the sales started to happen, ching, 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 ching,
Right.
through that first year, or that first Christmas season. Even though it was late, I mean, it was in early December, so we had a 2-week
Okay.
selling window before decorating for Christmas kind of went away.
Right.
Very exciting. But I'm being long-winded. Just interrupt me if you want me to shut up.
No, you're good. You're good.
Cubans people kind of came back and said, we're having trouble getting our arms around this financials. And I went, well, hell, we just made a ton of sales. Maybe I don't care anymore whether we do this or not. I kind of cared, but then, so fast forward to January, my son is having paving stones put in his backyard, and the paving stone salesman shows up, and like all good salesmen on site, hey, what do you do for a living? And he goes, oh, I'm doing this thing with my dad, these garage door covers. He goes, I saw you on Shark Tank. You get that a lot, actually. And he goes,
Right.
yeah, that's Shark Tank. He says, my father-in-law was really pissed that Mark Cuban made you an offer. I said, pissed? Why would he be pissed? He says, because he wanted to invest in your company. I said, well, to tell you the truth, the deal isn't going that, or Billy told him, hey,
Right.
the deal hasn't closed. 2 hours later, his father-in-law calls. A month later, he and his partner are investors at a better
Nice.
multiple. I am forever grateful to Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban,
Mhm.
I couldn't have more nice things to say. His team was nice. We just had some issues on details that just didn't work out for them
Yeah.
or for me. So it worked out fine for both of us. But Cuban really legitimized our product, and and now we're not allowed to make too big a deal out of the Shark Tank thing, although everybody does. So, I can't use it in my advertising and what have you. But
Right. Yeah. Fair enough.
as seen on TV or whatever. But,
Well, I'm
but
surprised
it
that
was
it's
a great way to kick
45
off.
minutes.
Hmm?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's a great way to kick off a business.
Oh, heck yeah. No, I'm surprised about 45 minutes of Q&A. Obviously, on the show, they cut it down to 3 minutes or whatever, but
Right.
45 minutes. So they really dive into specifics of your company then.
Oh man, they asked some really good questions. They saw a lot of, they wanted to know how to attach it. They, Barbara didn't like our graphics. When you watch the thing, you'll laugh.
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Wonderful said, hey, the problem with holiday things is inventory control, and he's damn right. How many sizes, what designs, what sells, what doesn't sell. They asked all the good questions. Mark Cuban came back and said, where the money is in custom covers. He says, you guys have got to get into making covers one at a time. Well, here's the problem we had then at that time is if a cover cost me $50 to make in Vietnam, the lowest price I had in the U.S. was $280. If I'm giving you some sort of sense of how much more expensive it would be to do these in the U.S. Now, we could do them ourselves, but then that's a skill set we didn't have, doing sublimation printing and understanding how the fabric goes in sewing and all the things that require employees, which I wasn't super excited about doing early on.
Fair enough.
So, he says, you've got to come up with a way to make these yourself. And I said, well, the equipment to do this is about $100,000. And he goes, is that all? Man, you should do this yourself. And so we can. And so he was excited about us doing it. Well, what was nice about Shark Tank is that I got a couple of calls from some dye sublimation printers that said, I think we can get closer to your number. And it's still twice as expensive to make it in the U.S. But it speeds, our speed to market is better. Our ability to do custom covers is better. And now we still probably getting into the manufacturing part of this is in our future at some point. But right now, as a small business and you're starting up, the last thing you want to take on is a bunch of overhead and employees and challenges to make these. Although I can see the benefit of doing it ourselves. And as our volume increases, I think we'll be able to start to slip in covers that we make ourselves. But right now, I'm happy. I've got a great vendor here in the U.S. and I've got a terrific vendor in Vietnam. And so the ham and egging there has worked out.
So we have an international crew in our comments sections today. And my Kiwi Christmas, he's from New Zealand, wants to know about shipping options. Do you ship internationally?
Yeah, we have. It's hellaciously expensive these days. DHL is really expensive. In New Zealand, we just shipped a couple covers to Australia. And what we did is we had them, even though they were blown-off covers, we had them made in Vietnam, and we shipped it from Vietnam. Although it kind of doesn't matter, I guess, once it gets on an airplane. But absolutely, we'll work on it, and we'll work on the freight.
Very nice. So you saw a need, a blank space, if you will, to be filled. You filled the space. You've gone through all the hoops. What advice do you have out there for other entrepreneurs who want to get involved in something similar to this, whether it be build a better mousetrap or whatever? What advice do you have for folks?
I've been an entrepreneur all my life. I started a software company back before the IBM PC even started. And then we built that up. And then I got involved with electric vehicles. We built electric buses and way early, back in the pioneer days. But I've done a lot of these things, and I always was worried about, slow growth and don't lose money and, kind of do it on the cheap, and what have you. And I always said to myself, the one thing I kind of regretted is I kind of wish we had gone big, either be a success or flame out spectacularly. And so, I'm the cheapest guy in the world. I wanted to sneak into the market. I wanted to try stuff, do things to identify that we actually had a product that worked and we had a market that was out there. And then when we did Shark Tank, it was basically to say, let's get the money and go give this a real shot. Let's not just go be a, dribs and drabs and make a sale here and a sale there and slowly grow, because what's going to happen is the competition is going to catch you. So I kind of took on the attitude of go big or go home.
Okay.
And maybe I'm saying go medium or go home. I haven't played bet the house here, but anyway.
The journey on. Mike Kiwi has a great question I never even thought about. Do you have a licensing option for folks? Is that something you thought about or in the works?
I haven't yet. To tell you the truth, no. Although I imagine what he's talking about is being like my representative in New Zealand whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, we could think about it. We're not there yet, but yeah, we could probably do that once we get after this Christmas is over. If you're interested in doing something with us, give us a call in January, February timeframe. We can talk about maybe licensing for the 2024. This is
Okay, there you go.
2025 seasons.
Now we're talking about going big or going home. So to give people some sort of a concept from when you started your first year to now, or what you think your sales are going to be this year, how big have you guys become as a company? Was it just you and your son at start? And where are you at now?
We're teeny tiny. We're a two-man operation. It's
Okay.
Bill is doing all the graphics and all that jazz, and I'm basically the labor. I'm packing boxes and dealing with it, and the two of us. But we're doing things like we had a container come in, and the two of us emptied the container ourselves. We didn't hire anybody to help.
Nice.
We're trying not to have employees, so we're keeping our overhead incredibly low as we can keep it. We took on a warehouse this year, which has dramatically increased our overhead, but
right.
But we're trying to keep it down as low as we can. Let's see, what was the question you were asking me?
Just how have you grown as a company since your first year till now?
That first year, with the boost from Shark Tank, we did about $350,000 in sales. So
nice.
we popped it out. Now we sold about $150,000 to Spirit Halloween right out of the chute. So we had sales in the bag before we started business. That was the Bill Webster plan. This last year, now that we did about $1.2 million. So we
nice.
Quite a bit. We're still a small company. I'm guessing. We ran some experiments last year with retail. We did a small run at Lowe's. We've done some stuff at Ace. You can still buy our products at Ace. People don't know what garage door covers are yet. They don't sell. They sell okay at retail, but nobody knows what they are, and there's no way to display it at a store. Like if you walk into a Home Depot or a Lowe's, you can see they take one of their inflatables and they inflate it, or they take an animatronics and you walk in the door and there's a spooky animatronic guy. For a garage door cover, the only thing we could do, and a couple of stores at Lowe's did this, they actually hung them from the rafters. And people said, "Oh, that looks cool," but they didn't kind of put two and two together. And trying to make a fake garage door is just so expensive for a store. It just didn't work. So we're kind of holding off on retail right now. We have a couple retailers that are selling, but right now the nice thing about e-commerce is I can put something on TikTok or put it on Instagram or put it on Facebook, and you can see it working and you can see what's going on. So right now, I think that's what we're going to keep our focus is on social media and e-tailing, if you will.
So when people ask me about your covers that I have on my own home, and all the neighbors can buy, or I have people who walk the dog and, "Hey, where'd you get that cover?" I tell everybody, your covers are like being on the forefront of the pixel lights. A couple of people have them, and then they just blew up. At some point in time, in the very near future, I think it's going to blow up because it's a blank space that you've come up with a great, and it's a great product. You filled a space. It's a great product. I brag about you guys all the time because it's very nearly the perfect product. It just is.
Well, thank you for that. We're very excited about it. We think that the future is pretty big. There's other, obviously other markets that we're starting to look at too. Heck, even I had garage door companies call us saying, "Hey, we'd like to put our logo on after we install a new garage door," or or they install a new garage door. They said, "We want to cover it so it doesn't get dirty." And I said, "Well, I never thought about having our covers be a tarp, but I guess it's okay."
Right. Okay.
But
I thought you were going to. I thought you were going to say when the garage door company called you, they said they want to start giving away a free cover with every garage door purchase. So that's a great idea.
I like that idea too. I love those ideas.
What would you consider your biggest achievement since you've created garage celebrations so far? What's been your watershed moment, if you will, or what are you most proud of? I guess is another way of saying that.
Well, the watershed moment is probably Shark Tank still.
Okay.
But the fact that, to tell you from my perspective, it's working with my son. I've had so much fun. Every morning we get a call, we talk about stuff, and I tell him I don't like the new graphics, and he tells me I'm an idiot. And, fine, you know, um, and back and forth. And we're working on different ways to make things work better. But that part of it has really been cool. I've had so much
Yeah.
fun, and then the whole family's gotten involved. One of my other boys has helped us when we need labor. My wife
Right.
becomes this support occasionally, or she'll come down and take inventory when we're doing inventory. So we've made it sort of a family business, and I'm having fun. I mean, for me, I realize that
Yeah.
retirement is just not in the cards for me. I don't know what I'd be doing with myself if I were retired. I can play golf once or twice a month, and that's fun. And if
Right.
I even this last weekend, I find myself, I'm sitting by the pool and I'm reading and I'm, have wine and cheese and
Yeah.
whatever. That's all great, but it's boring. The nice thing about this, I got Charlie calling me and wants to do a show, and I've got things to
Heck
do.
yeah.
My phone is ringing with people that have questions and make sales, and I've just had a blast.
Yeah, I tell folks all the time I need to retire from my day job to have enough time to do my hobby because my hobbies are nothing but fun. But that's the question I was going to sneak in. You get to work with your son. That's got to be fun. Question I have for you is, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a Princeton man and he's a Harvard man. Is there any Ivy League animosity in the family?
Actually, no. It's funny. His undergrad was at the University of Arizona, and
Right.
and he was working in architecture, and then his boss encouraged him to get a master's in urban design, and he was accepted at Harvard, which I was thrilled about. I tell you the truth,
Yeah.
I was happy, and he took good advantage of being at Harvard. Going to the football
Mhm.
games and doing things, even though it was a lot of work. But I was thrilled for him that he got in and put that to work. So yeah, it's funny though. Occasionally, I'll give him a little ribbon, but
Fair enough. Uh,
that's
I think I know the answer to this, but Steve is asking, do you make open garage screens for open garage doors?
no, we don't. That's an interesting idea, though. Why would someone have an open garage door, just like for a party or something? Or
Steve, why don't you tell us what you mean? But yeah, I would assume so. I'll have my neighbor down the street. Well, actually, for many years, we did tailgates. We're in the Kansas area, so we're Kansas City Chiefs fans. So for 15 years, we had a garage filled with people every Sunday. He just says for privacy. Okay, I don't know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Now,
the
way our thing works,
okay.
it needs the door, so it would.
Yes, yeah.
Work that way.
Do you work with any real estate companies? Alan's asking.
Yeah, we do. Actually, we've got a number of things going on right now. A lot of real estate agents have asked, can I do my for sale signs using garage doors? And
okay.
We've done a couple of those so far. That could be a huge, one of the markets right now is Lennar Home Builders is using our covers right now in their developments, and to identify those homes that are available for sale. And they're using our garage door covers to do that. And it's been seemingly pretty successful. So we're building that market right now, trying to understand how that works and how we can best leverage. That's probably our 2025 biggest effort. Yeah, if you're a real estate person and you're looking for something, we'd be happy to do it as a custom cover right now. And
so you license Disney, you license Peanuts, you do blank covers for projection mapping, you do every holiday there is. What's next for Garage Celebrations in the next 5 years? What can we expect from you?
We desperately need, well, not desperately, but we need to find non-holiday applications. We need something for evergreening our business. Right now, this is our first kind of full year of post Shark Tank, and last year was kind of a growth year for us. This year's like, okay, we're now in business, and the first 6 months of the year are slow. If you're a holiday, I mean, we sell a few, St. Patrick's Days and Valentine's Days and even Easter's and what have you. But if we're depending on holidays, it's basically we got a 6-month year, and so one of our big things we're looking at now is what else can we do that's not holiday related and to the real estate or what have you those markets.
Right.
Can we find ways to make this work for non-holiday, and then have holidays become sort of the benefit, over a base business of something else, And I don't know what that looks like. I mean, we've had all kinds of
Fair.
interesting ideas, but I think the one thing we've discovered is that one-day holidays, while they sell, don't sell great.
Yes.
People just don't want to put a garage door cover up for Happy Birthday, Charlie, or even St. Patrick's Day. Although if you're having a party or whatever, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
But it's not like 4th of July. From Memorial Day through the 4th of July, we have a lot of people putting up our American flags or patriotic covers or what have you, and they stay up for about a month. And Halloween, starting in September, you'll start to see Halloween decorations starting to go up. And of course, Christmas is the traditional long run. So anyhow, that's kind of where our head is for the future, is that we need to find non-holiday applications for our technology, for lack of a better word.
Nice.
And then to your point, are there other doors? Are there doormats? Are there other doors or windows or things that we could do to add? People have asked us, can we add LED lights to the covers and those kinds of things? And the answer is probably yes, but we're not there yet. We might sell
LED lights to the covers would be interesting. I don't know how that would work.
One of the things we might just sell is those little solar spotlights. Even people don't even know. If we just had those and say, hey, if you want to buy for $15 or whatever, you buy an extra solar light. You have it. So we'll have to see. I'm not there yet. Once again, stay in your lane.
Yeah, you're not being car covers are something they want you to get into as well. Chad says, hey, someone wanted car covers would be awesome. So
that's kind of interesting. Although that's the same problem we have with doors, except different, is that the car covers are really size dependent. What car? One of the things I was kind of looking at, which would be kind of interesting, is for tailgating. Could we do something? You open your trunk. Could we do something that has like go on it for tailgates?
Okay.
Or there are areas that are doing Halloween trick or treating for kids, where they do it in their cars and their trunks, where they form big circles.
Yes, trunk or treat. Yeah.
Trunk or treat. Thank you. That's what I was thinking. Could we do something that would attach inside the trunk? That's probably more, because then that's just a flat piece of fabric that's printed. Right. That might work.
So John's tuned in on our Facebook Live and asked, we didn't cover this, said, once they're packed up and they're stored away, do they wrinkle when they get out? I'll say emphatically they don't. I have two of your covers, and my 4th of July one's still up on the garage. Otherwise, I'd have it here for show and tell. But I don't think the product's ever wrinkled. Do you think otherwise?
No, it doesn't wrinkle at all, because it's that polyester spandex blend. My big challenge is when I get these covers, they're beautifully folded in our hanging bags, that we ship off to people. And then I put it on the garage door, and I can't fold it back. It's sort of like a map in the old days. I can't seem to get it to look as nice as the ones that come from so we cram them together. I got boxes full of these things, and I whip them out, and they go right up, and there's no wrinkles. So
correct me if I'm wrong. Is it 7% spandex that the material is?
Depends on the source, but 6 or 7% spandex.
Okay.
And most of the spandex is in the for us, the vertical direction, because obviously as the door opens, it goes, that's where most of the spandex is. And we just let the mechanical stretch on the side to side. All fabric will stretch a little bit, that's called mechanical stretch, but we need to have it much stretchier to work properly vertically.
Yeah. Someone at the beginning of the chat a while back compared it to a fitted sheet that zips up. I'm like, okay, you can kind of see that a little bit.
That's fair, except that the whole sheet is spandex rather than just the edges being stretchy.
Eddie's asking that you about tents used for tailgating.
Oh, like those? Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
Party tents
sizes. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. We'd have to look at that. That's an interesting idea. Thanks for that idea.
Are they UV
No,
protected?
no, that's one of the things we're really
Really? I thought they
struggling
were.
with.
Okay.
The UV is a bit of a challenge in that there are UV inks that we're starting to play with,
Mhm.
but they will fade over time. When you take it
Okay.
down, you'll see that the one that's wrapped, it might fade slightly. You won't notice because it's fading equally. You've never noticed. But like
Right.
if you're in Arizona and you're a west-facing garage door and you just get the sun beating on that thing, it will fade over time. Especially the
Huh.
darker colors will fade. Just like your shirt, everything. Most everything. Your T-shirt was dye supplemented. The printing on your T-shirt was probably the same
Right.
thing. But it's usually a little bit over time. Maybe by year 4, you're kind of saying, "Man,
Okay.
this isn't where I want it to be." Now, on the other hand, I haven't had a problem. I'm in California, and I do have a
Yeah,
west
I haven't
facing
either.
garage, and I haven't had much of a problem. But to your point, UV is something we're looking at. Supposedly there are inks that are UV, but they're a lot more money. Um, I think UV ink will probably be when we start making them ourselves. We'll probably take a look at that.
Yeah, looks like Kurt's jumping off, but says he will be emailing you about a custom cover.
Fantastic. We'd love to do custom covers. And those of you who have Garage Celebration covers, if you have pictures, send them to us. We'll put them in our gallery. We love photos.
Yeah, I'm trying to think he might have jumped off, but we had a couple of folks. Oh, there he is, Brian. So we have some folks who have won the Great Christmas Light Fight, and we have some I'm not allowed to announce. We have some in this chat who will be on Great Christmas Light Fight in the upcoming season. So one thing we do here, you talk about send pictures in. So every year I do what's called a Fan Appreciation Award, where folks send me in their displays, and I put those into a video, put that out for the masses. And so far in the last 4 years, 10 of our contestants have gone on to be cast on the Great Christmas Light Fight. I cannot wait. Last year, I think back, last year we had one person, Monty, send in his submission, and he had 3 of your covers on. He had he has a 3-car garage. 2 doors had the white background with the red ribbon, and then the middle one was the Merry Christmas one. It looked spectacular.
No, fantastic. That's great. Well, yeah. If anybody's doing a display, give us a call. Especially if you want something custom. Let's do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Get it to you so that you have it in plenty of time.
Yep. Kiwi Christmas says he's going to reach out to you for his logo. And Monty saying, who we were just talking about, says he loves what you do. Can tell by your enthusiasm and your product that you love it. He's got to hear about the customer option coming soon. He wants to get his daughter a cover as well.
Oh, fantastic.
So is there anything I should have asked you today that I didn't or that we didn't cover that you want to cover?
I don't think so. Please just jump on the website, check out the various stuff we have. There are discounts for multiple covers. So if you want to buy like an American flag, a Halloween, and a Christmas, you get like, gee whiz, I think it's like 25% off if you're buying 3 at a time. But take a look, and we would love to have more people. The more people, the better, because everybody who puts up a cover, just like you, Charlie, it starts to sell us other covers because people see them and they go, "Now that's cool. Yep. I want one of those for me."
Yep. See, Alan's asking, can you split over multiple doors? You talked about that a little bit earlier about somebody wanted to go Santa Claus in both doors.
Yeah, we try and make like Smiling Pumpkins. We have a 2-door and a 1-door version, but it's kind of the same cover. This guy wanted Santa on the 1 door and the reindeer on the other, and that was a custom cover, and we just did that like today or yesterday, I guess.
Oh wow, okay.
So it looks pretty cool, actually. I thought it looked great. So yeah, if you've got 2 doors and you've got something in your head, we can work with you and make that
Very
work.
nice. Yeah, that would be pretty neat to have a continuation one.
Yeah.
See, Chad saying I may buy one to hide. May buy one of these to hide my ugly garage door. And just pray about that. You absolutely should.
Actually,
These...
I had somebody call me and say, "Can you do a graphic of a clean garage, and then I'll put it on my garage door and close my garage door?" I always thought having a Lamborghini and a Porsche, the rear ends of a Lamborghini and a Porsche would look cool with a closed garage.
That's brilliant. I love that idea. That's a great idea. I was going to ask you something. I thought I was laughing too hard there a second ago. Oh, well, what I know is gonna so you got garage door, you got garagecelebrations.com. Where else can they find you? Are you on any other social media?
You can find some of our covers on Spirit Halloween. Obviously, we're Instagram, TikTok, Facebook,
Okay.
all the usual suspects.
Right.
Ace Hardware is going to be selling our covers this Christmas. I just boxed up a few hundred covers for them, and they'll be putting like one or two in an Ace, especially if you're out, in rural areas where there's not typically Ace doesn't want to compete with Home Depot and Lowe's in the
Right.
big cities, but everywhere else they've been a great partner for us. We're thrilled with Ace, and they're continuing to buy Christmas covers, so you can buy them there. But for the most part, buy direct from us. You can buy on Amazon. Yep. You can buy on Amazon. We have a love-hate relationship with Amazon. So,
John's asking, what's the average installation time for 1-door and 2-door garages? For
okay,
my
Charlie,
answer, yes, what? For 2-door, yeah. But if I have my wife there and I'm doing everything nice and safe and proper, I actually have 2 garage doors. For me, both doors less than 10 minutes, so it's pretty easy. Especially the first time, you're like, how's it go on? But after you put it on the first time, you are an instant expert. You know why? Because I've zipped up coats my entire life, and that's exactly what it is. So I'm going to say 2 doors in 10 minutes. Do you have a different answer for that, Bill?
I say it's like building an IKEA desk. The first one takes seemingly forever, and the second one goes right together.
Yes.
So the first time around, you can say, oh, okay, now I understand what they're doing. But it takes 10 minutes. The hard one's 10 minutes. So it's easy peasy.
Robert's asking, have you had anyone attach the banner to an outside wall to use as a photo op?
Yeah, actually, I have. Actually, I've done it too. I did a thing. I made one for my garage that had the Princeton P when Princeton was in the NC2A basketball tournament. I decided
I
made a Princeton cover, and then I went back to reunions, and we in a tent we do a live concert. And so I hung the banner behind the drummer, and so we're taking a look at maybe taking some of these covers and maybe just rolling the edge so that you can put a piece of PVC through or as a wall hanging. But yeah, we've done that. I've done it. It's not perfect because of the way we cut out the covers are, it's not square. And so it can look a little funky, but for the most part, it looks great.
Fair enough. So they can reach you at garagecelebrations.com at that little scrolling thing down there.
Or email me at bill@garagecelebrations.com. I'll return your emails. Or I'll turn you on to my son who can actually give you the answer you want.
There you go. So I think if no more other questions come in really quickly, I think we'll call it a day here. But stick around for a little bit, and you and I will talk here behind the scenes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much for coming on.
All right. Thank you.
All right, guys. I'm Charlie. Thanks so much for tuning in. And I'll see here. Let me get back to here real quick. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. I'm Charlie. He's Bill for the Garage Celebrations. Fantastic product. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.